Okay, so some of the things that we need to watch for in 2011 from a policy and legal action standpoint would include things like what's going to happen with the government's actions toward loan modifications. What will they do to prod lenders and Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to force them to greater or more principal reductions on mortgages? And if they do that, that might have a tendency to lower some of the foreclosure inventories that we're seeing, and of course the shadow inventory overall that's depressing home prices today. So that's one thing to keep in mind. The second thing is to watch for this new set of rules that are coming out from Dodd-Frank, what's called qualified residential mortgage and risk retention rules, which will redefine what the definition of products that otherwise will be securitized would look like. If they define those set of products in such a tight fashion, that could have a tendency to raise borrowing costs, at least in the short term for mortgages, and or reduce or restrict credit availability for mortgages. So it'll be very important to kind of watch what happens with all of that change coming up in the next month or two. In addition, we should be kind of focusing again more on foreclosure and servicing activity with respect to particularly the federal and state regulations or regulators' actions that are being taken toward some of the largest mortgage servicers. What I mean by that is that some of the unfriendly consumer-focused processes, such as this dual-track foreclosure process, we'll see that go away sometime next year, if not even sooner here in 2011 for sure. Largely because I think there'll be a number of concessions that will be extracted by the state attorneys general and federal regulators on that dimension. And then lastly, I would say we should keep an eye out, although I don't hold out much hope for it in 2011, looking for what comes out of the Obama administration's recommendations for regulatory reform around the two GSEs, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. There, I think we're going to see very less substantive change coming out, at least for 2011, largely because I think it'll be more of a steady as she goes approach. And also with the new change in the House, I think, if anything, we'll see more action toward trying to diminish the government's role in that space. So those are the four policy legal actions that I would look for in 2011 for sure.